Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 161 based on novel. So let's start. During yesterday's public lesson, without him noticing, Yiku's consciousness had left the virtual universe network. Even his own call request didn't go through. Back then he still thought Yiku had a sudden inspiration or was looking for treasure, etc. But from the looks of it now, Yiku may have met with misfortune back then. This big brother Yiku was a huge figure sent by the virtual universe company to control a large territory. How did he just die? Even if he left the safety net of the virtual universe company, meeting many events outside, he was still after all a core member of the company. How could he just get killed like that? Luo Feng couldn't believe it. Scenes appeared and flashed in his mind. You again? I noticed you during the last 2 classes. What a coincidence. An intrepid youth dressed in scaled armor walked over and laughed as he shouted, "What a coincidence." Luo Feng laughed as well. I'm Luo Feng, I'm Yiku. Let me tell you, when the virtual universe company sends their domain lords out, they'll put them in their own home universe country. When I return this time, I'll control a large territory. The feeling will definitely be different. My clansman's position too have since risen because of this. No one dares to ever bully my Copper Flame clan anymore. Yiku was proud. My home Earth is the same. When I entered the virtual universe company's core, the people of Earth statuses rose greatly in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Luo Feng laughed too. If there's a strong warrior in the clan, the others will rise in status. However, if we fall, their status will fall greatly too. Yiku's eyes stared. However, I will definitely work hard to become undying. Definitely, we'll work hard together. Luo Feng's eyes too were filled with anticipation and fighting spirit. Luo Feng, you are currently still at the universe level. You can safely stay under the protection of the virtual universe company to train and take missions, everything within a controlled area. When you reach domain lord level and get placed in a universe country, controlling a large territory, that's when your true grueling training will begin. That's when it will truly become dangerous. Especially at sector lord level, where you are not even allowed to bring your guard team, you'll go through life or death training then. Different scenes appeared in Luo Feng's mind. He hadn't known Yiku for too long, but the two of them did have an affinity. Maybe it's because of their many similarities. The path to undying is extremely tough, Luo Feng muttered, looking at the screen before him. On it the text read, "To all absolute beginning members in Yuxiong Mountain, our virtual universe just confirmed that Yiku, an absolute beginning member, one that had been exceptional since the genius battle, has fallen. This is a very heartbreaking news. The Absolute Beginning region absorbs members through the Genius Battle and the Absolute Warriors Battle. Every 10,000 years, we absorb less than 20 people. However, as time flows, every 100 to 1,000 years, someone will fall. One after another, the geniuses will continue to fall. Eventually, extremely few members will pass the road to become an undying. 95%. A terrifying number. This is the mortality rate of our Absolute Beginning region. 95% of the members from the Absolute Beginning region will fall. Yes. Right now, there were 1,137 members living in the region. About 95% of them will fall along the way to becoming undying, and only 5% will reach the end and become undying. I hope that all living members will be extra careful. Listening to classes? Training? Missions? Placed in their own universe countries? Sector Lord missions? Our virtual universe has given you all very huge liberties and power. The path is the one thing that you choose for yourself. The danger level too will be decided by you, and you'll bear the consequence for everything. I only hope that in the future, you all don't regret the decisions you made in the face of death. Virtual Universe Company, 1 mail. All the living 1137 Absolute Beginning members received it. The entire region seemed to have a heavy aura hanging over it. Absolute Beginning region, Manka Prince Wuka's villa, living room. Luo Feng, Rongjun, Ari Chen, Aopa Ti La, Wuka, Jiang Mo, Qian Shui, Lancelot. The Absolute Beginning members from the latest Genius battle sat together unlike ever before. They usually formed their own little cliques, like Luo Feng, Rong Jun, and Wuka. Ao Pa Ti La, Lancelot were close, Ri Chen, Jiang Mo, and Qian Shui were close. However, at this time the 8 of them sat around the living room in silence. 95% of us will fall. Lancelot, a devilishly handsome youth, muttered. The moment I think about the many geniuses falling and imagining the currently bustling absolute beginning region becoming a cemetery, I feel shock and fear. I can't help but feel a chill. Silence. The air in the living room seemed stiff. There was heavy pressure, everyone could feel this pressure. 95%. This number had completely shocked the newcomers. Luo Feng felt a chill. These days I've been training, listening to classes, simulation in the training grounds, studying time-space scribbles, immersed in study. Teacher personally reminded me to go take on missions, to study and experience reality simultaneously, yet I never took it seriously. Luo Feng's eyes were cold. 30 years of a safe life has numbed me. A true warrior can only be born from grueling hardship. Just like how it takes 100 years to temper iron, experiencing many life or death instances, only then can a true warrior be made. Silence. The 8 sat there, thinking about many things. Luo Feng stood up, the other 7 all looked over. Since we are walking this path, unless we choose to back out and return to our safe lives, we can only push forward. If we fall, we'll stand back up. We'll recover from heavy injuries and only death will end everything. Luo Feng's eyes were cold. The path to undying isn't something everyone can walk. Luo Feng immediately turned and walked out, flying into the sky and vanishing. The other 7 were stunned. Rong Jun stood up and said solemnly, Luo Feng is right. The path to undying isn't something anyone can just walk. Without the right heart, it's better to just give up. After which he turned and left too. Ha ha, good. Isn't it just a battle? Ha ha, the people of Manka are people that love battles. Wuka too stood up and laughed loudly. However, his laugh had a sense of pressure and coldness. Go. Jiang Mo stood up, Qian Shui followed her big brother and left. Yiku's death had given the members of the absolute beginning region a huge wake-up call, and the ones that were truly awoken were Luo Feng and the other 7. They didn't even seem to sense any danger from before training mission. Rong Jun sat in his study. He opened the screen and looked carefully. Safe level, normal, difficult, dangerous, impossible? This is the first time I'm taking a mission. Without any danger there won't be any effect. I can still choose the level now, in the future I won't even get a choice. However, the first time shouldn't be too dangerous, after all I have no experience. Difficult level. Rong Jun opened the difficult level and chose the mission. Fantasy Ocean. Rumble, a black ocean roared. The waves rose as high as 10 meters, crashing over and over into the cliffside. Luo Feng stood above the cliff, looking at the endless fantasy ocean. For a strong warrior, other than talent, comprehension, hard work, resources and techniques, the most important thing is his heart. Luo Feng looked far ahead. With a heart like a blade and strong willpower, for the route ahead, any obstruction will be nothing but a joke. Progressing forward, with a heart of respect and nothing to fear, heart cold as a mirror, able to see clearly through everything, heart like a blade, able to cut through obstructions. Luo Feng's eyes were cold. With a rumble he became a beam of light and headed towards the first island of the fantasy ocean. His heart was cold like a mirror. This was the state that Luo Feng had reached long ago in spirit. In any circumstance or situation, he could maintain absolute calm and coldness. And 30 years of quiet study. The death of a good friend, it made him raw. It made him reflect on himself, seeing clearly what he was. His willpower and heart were both like a blade. Heart like a mirror, this was where the heart had reached an absolute level of strength. Heart like a blade was another aspect altogether. Hong and Thunder God both focused heavily on the spirit training. These two had long reached a perfect level of the heart. Their mental state had long reached the pinnacle of Chinese culture level. Chasing after their ancestors, they had many methods of training and finally reached perfection. Maybe in other aspects they were weaker, however in mental state alone, these two could be considered at the pinnacle in the universe. And Luo Feng too could achieve this state. He was probably only weaker than the other two by a little. Primal Chaos City. A group was listening to True Yang Emperor's class. Luo Feng was one of them. With just this level of illusion and you want to affect me? My heart is like a mirror, I see through all the haze. My heart is like a blade, I cut through all the illusions. Break. 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 Luo Feng's consciousness was like lightning, roaring and shaking the skies. The land and skies crumbled and the illusion broke, revealing the original island scenery. It was a white sandy island and on it were trees and plants, which looked silent and beautiful. And Luo Feng stood on the beach of the island. In the distant ocean, there was darkness. In the distance, a white shade floated and appeared. Another deeper island had appeared. Only after passing the first level would the next island appear. I really wish to see what kind of illusion can stop me. Luo Feng rushed into the sky, becoming a beam of light and heading towards the sixth island. Right, Luo Feng had just passed 5 islands of the fantasy ocean continuously. 5 islands, they hardly even affected Luo Feng. At the deepest parts of fantasy ocean, within the 21st island, sat a golden-armored, black-scaled old man. He was the manager of the fantasy ocean. The old man with a face full of black scales opened his eyes and gazed far away. With a dazed look, he said, "A universe level 9 punk is actually passing the 7th island so easily? Even many sector lords can't pass this island, yet he is passing it that easily." Looking at his details. Luo Feng. True Yang Emperor's disciple. True Yang is good at teaching disciples. However, consciousness and willpower cannot be taught. Let's see how many islands this pink can pass. If he passes the 9th island, then that's impressive. Even many pinnacle of sector lords cannot pass that. The black-scaled old man smiled. He looked into space and watched Luo Feng's progress through the fantasy ocean. After a while he passed the 8th island. The black-scaled old man's eyes were filled with shock. With a swoosh he stood up. He really passed the 8th. Fantasy Island's 21 islands was actually very similar to passing the 21 levels of the Heavenly Bridge. However, consciousness and willpower were from within and were hard to train. A student-level punk, in terms of willpower alone, may not be weaker than a sector lord. Of course, consciousness strength would be much weaker, however just willpower alone was hard to gauge. However, the fantasy island alone tested both of them and not just willpower. His consciousness strength definitely cannot compare to a pinnacle sector lord. The black-scaled man's eyes were filled with shock, saying solemnly, "It's extremely tiring for him in Fantasy Island, but obviously his willpower has compensated quite a bit for that. His willpower is sturdy, his determination and willpower is immovable. Actually, they are even stronger than the pinnacle of Sector Lord, 9th Island." The black-scaled old man's eyes were nervous. 9th Island was named as one of the limits of a sector lord. Very few sector lords can pass this. This Luo Feng, a universe level 9 punk, how can he possibly pass this? It's impossible. 9th Island, the mountain rocks and sand were all white. The trees and plants were lush in this island. Luo Feng stood at the peak of the island's 300 to 400 meter tall mountain. His body upright, eyes cold, gaze like a blade, there wasn't any hint of worry or hesitation. Within a few seconds, the illusion and pressure began to completely engulf Luo Feng. Rumble. Luo Feng felt as though a large mountain had just crashed on his consciousness. This was purely the consciousness strength alone. Even for many sector lord pinnacle warriors, their consciousness would immediately be knocked and they would feel dizzy. In that blurry state, one would unwittingly fall into the illusion and lose. Just like how some strong-willed people of Earth would never sign their life or property away. However, after a few punches, kicks in that weary state, they wouldn't even know if they end up actually submitting and signing the papers. One theory. First heavily damage the consciousness. Once one was in a blurry state, unleash the illusion, rumble, almost like a mountain crashing on his consciousness. Luo Feng immediately felt the tremor. He saw the land started to swirl in front of him, as he started to feel dizzy, heart like a blade, gather. His consciousness let out a roar. His state of mind, which was in a state close to desperation, immediately reconstructed and his mind was clear again. Willpower was the general. Consciousness was the soldier. The strength of one's consciousness included one's spirit energy, mental strength, and so on. As one's strength grew, it would naturally grow. For example, if a sector lord released his spirit pressure, he could easily kill a star traveler or star level. Even if his willpower was normal, his immeasurable strength was simply too much. Luo Feng's consciousness strength was the Golden Horned Beast Domain Lord level 6. The Golden Horned Beast was much stronger than the same level humans. It was comparable to a Domain Lord level 9 or even a Sector Lord level 1 human. Luo Feng's consciousness strength had already reached the pinnacle of Domain Lords. Right now, he was under the attack of a Sector Lord pinnacle pressure. Luckily, his willpower was incredibly sturdy. With a powerful general, his consciousness solidified. He could withstand the attack and not crumble. If his consciousness level was at the universe level, he would have instantly crumbled. If the soldier is too weak, no matter how strong the general was, it was still useless. Since the soldier wasn't too weak, and the general was extremely strong, he still stood a chance. Luo Feng, Little Hai, battled with someone at the Ganwu dojo and was killed by his bodyguards. The scene changed, and while Luo Feng's consciousness was hit, he fell into the illusion. Shuxin's expression was filled with worry as she shouted. That illusion even invaded his memories, attempting to meld with it. What, Little Hai? Luo Feng was shocked. Heart as cold as a mirror, even when a few specks of dust fell, the mirror would still reflect clearly. Luo Feng immediately felt unsettled after being affected by the illusion. The illusion is after all just an illusion. Break. Luo Feng's consciousness solidified and immediately broke through the obstruction, cutting and slicing through the skies. However, this caused the illusionary world to only slightly tremble. This slight tremble alone made Luo Feng smile coldly. His consciousness was like a blade, as quick as lightning. It produced tens of millions of blades. Rumble, it immediately caused the illusionary world to produce an unstable tear. After which it crumbled and the surroundings revealed the scene of the 9th island once again. In the distance a blur of white appeared, the 10th island, 10th island. Luo Feng immediately flew over. The black-scaled old man who was located at the deepest parts of Fantasy Ocean, in that 21st island, revealed a look of shock. What strong consciousness and terrifying willpower! It's been extremely long since I've seen such willpower. With such willpower, if he doesn't reach the end of his lifespan and fall, he would become an absolute warrior. To actually enter and attempt Fantasy Ocean, it represented one's talents were extremely high. With high talents and exceptional nurturing, an absolute genius with incomparable willpower usually only had two paths: failing at the end or becoming an absolute warrior. In the past, Bolan only made it to the 7th island before failing, and Rong Jun failed at the 6th. These two already had terrifying willpower. But this Luo Feng, the black-scaled old man, choked and cleared his throat. This level of terrifying willpower will be very helpful during dangerous life or death situations. As long as there's a threat of survival, unless he meets with an impossible situation, he'll definitely become an absolute warrior. This news, I have to inform the higher-ups immediately. The black-scaled old man's expression was serious. Their more valuable one was, the more the virtual universe company would pay attention to them. Creating the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean, and Undying Altar, all these were to pick out the most exceptional of geniuses. The Undying Altar was the least emphasized of the three, mainly because almost all of the Pinnacle Sector Lords could reach perfection in control of their bodies. As for the Heavenly Bridge and Fantasy Ocean, many Undyings and even Universe country leaders would still attempt them. Hence, the Heavenly Bridge and Fantasy Ocean were more heavily emphasized. 10th Island. Luo Feng's gaze focused and his consciousness condensed, like a mirror and blade. It was incredibly sturdy. The 10th Island's illusion was accompanied by a terrifying amount of pressure. Rumble. Almost like the skies crumbling down on him, the pressure smashed into his consciousness. Within an instant, Luo Feng's consciousness crumbled. 10th Island was a failure. No matter how strong one's willpower was against a normal Undying's consciousness strength, it was like an being squashed into nothing. An excellent general can control 10,000 soldiers to move. With a bit of strategy, these soldiers can be controlled just like the extension of one's arm, finally killing the enemy general and their million-strong army while protecting their own. However, if the enemy had over 100 million soldiers which covered the land and skies, almost like an endless ocean, that same general, no matter how exceptional he would still die without a doubt. Fantasy Island Core Island 21. The black-scaled old man wrote a letter seriously, sending the detailed news of Luo Feng's progress and emphasizing heavily on how his willpower was terrifyingly strong. The black-scaled old man finally relaxed after sending it out, following the old rules. I'll inform True Yang Emperor and Jade Emperor. The black-scaled man wrote a simpler version of the report and sent it to these two. According to the rules, Luo Feng would eventually become an underling of Nine-Blade Knight. Hence, the details of his growth had to be constantly recorded and sent to Jade Emperor, who was under Nine-Blade Knight and in charge of such management. And True Yang Emperor was Luo Feng's teacher. He had specially requested the black-scaled old man to send progress about Luo Feng to him. The black-scaled old man gazed into the distant space, saying softly, even against tough situations, troubles, difficulties, big enemies and so on, one's willpower can't be that terrifying. And the greater the hatred, even though one's willpower will be strong, they will become easily susceptible to illusions. Such a terrifyingly sturdy willpower, only through special circumstance and situations can it be produced. The black-scaled old man exclaimed. Indeed. For Luo Feng to reach this step, he had indeed met with special circumstances. First reason was that he had been driven since young to become a warrior and often battle in life or death battles. Second reason was that he had sacrificed his life during the swallowing beast incident. However, the possession was successful. The feeling of such rebirth seemed to have changed his willpower tremendously. The third reason was that due to the golden horned beast's blood and soul influence, it caused Luo Feng to be extremely cold. And with guidance from Hong and Thunder God and the knowledge from thousands of years of Chinese culture, along with the inherited mental state training from his ancestors from these thousands of years, it allowed him to reach a perfect mental state like that of a mirror. Luo Feng had always recognized the importance of mental state training. Yiku's death, along with that letter, plus the 30 years of study, all had resulted in Luo Feng's mental state rising to yet another level. It had finally reached the level of heart like a blade. Heart like a mirror and blade. Creating a willpower that was so powerful it couldn't be moved. Training mission danger level is separated into 5 levels. Luo Feng looked at the screen and frowned. Which level should I pick? Looking at the 5 levels on the screen. Safe, mortality rate 0%. Normal, mortality rate 10%. Difficult, mortality rate 20%. Dangerous, mortality rate 50%. Impossible, mortality rate 90%. This is the first time I am taking on a mission. I have no knowledge about it. Luo Feng thought. I cannot pick randomly, and picking the impossible level would be too irresponsible. If it was Wuke or Rong Jun and the others, they would be prudent and pick the difficult level. Then Luo Feng pondered for a moment and nodded. I'll pick the dangerous level. Dangerous level, the second highest of the 5 levels, had a mortality rate of 50%. The ones picking the missions were all the most exceptional geniuses of the 1008 universe countries. Even though all of them had enough wealth to buy treasures and trump cards, many didn't dare pick too hard of a level the first time. Normally, only after acquiring enough experience would they pick the dangerous level. Even so, the mortality rate was still 50%. This showed just how dangerous it was. I'm different from them. I have my 2 great clones, which are even stronger than this body. Luo Feng thought, if I don't pick a more dangerous mission, there would be no challenge. Even though he was confident, he still needed to be prudent. He didn't dare pick the most terrifying impossible level. 90% mortality rate. This was truly impossible for the moment. Those who dared pick that were all fully prepared and incredibly confident. Yet, 9 out of 10 still died. The surviving ones were probably very lucky. This was the impossible level. Luo Feng gently tapped and chose the dangerous level missions. A screen appeared with red warning words. Warning. Warning. Your Majesty, Luo Feng is doing a mission for the first time. According to the records and calculations history from the Virtual Universe Company, those picking a dangerous mission as their first mission have a mortality rate of 78.2%. Please choose wisely. If you wish to continue, please confirm. Otherwise, please cancel this and accept another mission. Luo Feng frowned. Picking the dangerous level as their first mission had a mortality rate of 78.2%. There's definitely a way to survive the mission, since the impossible level exists above it. The survival chances of the dangerous level are definitely bigger. If I can't even pass the dangerous level, wouldn't that be a joke? Luo Feng didn't hesitate and immediately confirmed the selection. A new glossary appeared on the screen and on it were detailed introductions. Dangerous level mission. Many core members would usually choose this after much experience and preparation as the mortality rate was still 50%. Similarly, since the danger level was high, the awarded points would be more shocking too. Below are the dangerous level missions: 1 Wei Psyche Planet, Virtual Universe Company Primal Secret Region, 2 7 Flames Palace, Virtual Universe Company Heaven and Ground Secret Region, 6 Green Demon World, Virtual Universe Company Last Phase Secret Region, 9 Dragon Pagoda Planet, Virtual Universe Company Absolute Beginning Secret Region, 18 9 Star Ocean, Huge Axe Dojo Huge Axe Secret Area, 29 Prison Battlefield, Universe Mercenary Alliance Glory Secret Region, 36 Blood River World. Virtual Universe Company Absolute Beginning Secret Region, 186 Flame Ice Continent, Universe Galaxy Bank Black Hole Secret Region. The list was filled with a blur of missions. There were a total of 186 missions that he could accept, and all of them were within secret regions. These were controlled and remodeled regions from the 5 Great Leviathans. The 186 secret regions were where the missions were located. 186. This Dragon Pagoda planet is in the Absolute Beginning region. Luo Feng gently tapped the 9th mission Dragon Pagoda planet and took a look. Universe Secret Region. The small ones were similar to a galaxy or the Milky Way. The big ones were similar to a star sector, or even like the size of the Ganwu Universe country. How many planets were in the Milky Way galaxy? How many galaxies were there in the Ganwu Universe country? Hence, in the vast and mysterious Universe Secret Regions, new continents may be produced in the voids of the regions, or even some special planets. Anyway, these special territories within the secret regions, many people could never calculate even with their entire lifespans. Dragon Pagoda planet, a planet produced within the Absolute Beginning region. Over countless years of being engulfed in universe energies, it resulted in many powerful dragon clans forming within the planet. There were some powerful thunder dragons proficient in flesh and blood battles, some humanoid dragons proficient in spirit attacks, or the Golden Dragon, which was a fusion of the two. Luo Feng looked at the detailed introduction of the planet. The introduction was very long. And the Dragon Pagoda training mission was all about hunting dragons. Become a dragon hunter, challenging indeed. Luo Feng muttered. The strongest within the Dagon Pagoda is akin to a pinnacle sector lord, while the weakest are at least universe level. One has to be extremely cautious while hunting. The moment a strong dragon discovers you, that wouldn't be hunting anymore, but rather being hunted instead. Luo Feng looked at several missions and was shocked at the many places. Blood River World was also located within the Absolute Beginning secret area. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The best choice for this first mission was one within the Absolute Beginning region. Otherwise, just flying to the other regions alone would take a very long time, and there were a total of 5 special sectors within the dangerous level missions. Luo Feng was leaning towards Blood River World. Blood River World was a floating vast continent within the Absolute Beginning region. A universe secret region is usually produced from the universe evolution, and this Blood River World is a powerful world that was produced within during the early stages of the Absolute Beginning region. Its ancientness far exceeds the most ancient universe country. Within the Blood River World, there live countless powerful humans. They formed their own language, culture, and training culture. They heavily respect strength. The detailed introduction for Blood River World was very long, and Luo Feng read on nervously. Such a mysterious world. There are even aboriginal undyings. Luo Feng looked with shock. What a pity, because it's within the universe secret region, with large amounts of cosmic dust obstructing the way. It made the Undyings unable to accelerate to light speed and engage in universe travel. Hence, even the Undying remained as aboriginals on Blood River World. Blood River World had a diameter close to 1 light year, which was about 9 trillion kilometers. Such a vast surface had allowed their population to reach a huge number. Also, since the universe origin laws were circulating within, the strong were like clouds. Reminder, the people of Blood River World hate outsiders. Hence, to accept this mission, one first has to not bring any technology-related items along. As for the few special spirit and genetic weapons, unless Blood River World already has them, they cannot be brought as well. One also has to follow the attire of the normal people of Blood River World. If one's looks are too peculiar, he would also have to undergo physical alteration to fit in with the look of the people of Blood River World. Blood River World's language differs from universe language. One has to learn the language before entering. Luophone laughed and nodded. Luckily the humans of Blood River World have tens of thousands of races. My looks are considered normal. As for weapons, with the study of origin laws, it doesn't make a difference whether I use a blade or spirit weapon. About language, with my consciousness speed that's comparable to a quantum computer, I should be able to learn it in half a day. Luophone finally decided on choosing Blood River World. Although it was an ancient world over 1 trillion years old, this was a place with a new culture, and had humans as the leaders of the planet, unlike the other missions with different and strange things with those secret areas. Blood River World's mission was, 1. Acquire 1 Blood River crystal. This was a Blood River World specialty, as Blood River crystals can be found nowhere else in the universe. A successful mission equals 10,000 points. 2. Acquire the title Blood Warrior and the Blood River Medal. A successful mission equals 100k points. Reminder, 99.5% of those who take this mission complete the first one. As long as one of the two was completed, it would represent that the mission as a success. Please confirm the acceptance of the Blood River mission. Acceptance successful. Please fill out the departure time. The Virtual Universe Company will arrange for a ship to send you to Blood River World. Luophone smiled at the mission. There were 2 reasons why he chose this mission. First reason was because of its unique culture and its unique training culture. The second reason was because it gave a large amount of points, amounting between 10k to 20k. Very few missions had 2 choices of missions, and the second mission of Blood River World actually reward 100k points when completed. My God! How much was 100k points? Only passing the 11th level of the Heavenly Bridge gave 100k points, and Luophone was stuck at only the 5th. As for the 11th? It would take at least another 1,000 years. Blood Warrior title, Blood River Medal. Maybe it's very difficult, however I still have to try. Luophone smiled. After receiving the mission, he began to do all sorts of preparations. Nanshan armament is one of humanity's 9 godly weapons. The Blood River World has no such materials to make it. Hence, when I enter Blood River World, I cannot take it out. The Gold Shadow Blade 2 is the same way. I'll custom make a sharp Blood Shadow Blade. Luophone custom made the Blood Shadow Blade and a 6-edged shield. The materials were all available on Blood River World. As for Cloud Contact Vine, the Cloud Contact Vine was a plant life form, and it was rare within humanity's 1008 universe countries. There's no such thing on Blood River World. I'll temporarily let the Mosha clan clone wear it. Luckily, Blood River World has the space ring. I'll order some armor, helmet and boots. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.